It's NFL mailbag time here at Chat Sports, and we have a lot of questions that are always answered. And guess what? We can't get to every single one of them. So if you can't join our live show every single Monday and Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, don't be afraid to hit me up on IG. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. First question coming here is from Christian Navarro. Mitchell, on your opinion, okay, which quarterback will be better in 2021, Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow? It's a great question. If I'm saying the better QB in just 2021, I'll sit here and say Joe Burrow because it's going to be his second year, and I think he's going to be fully % healthy. Better quarterback for the career, though, that still kind of remains to be seen. Both players not on the best franchises, but I might go with Trevor Lawrence then. The R&B Bros, should the 49ers re-sign Jordan Reed? I think it really kind of just comes down to money. I still think that the 49ers' biggest concentration should be on quarterback, but Jordan Reed, pretty solid player overall, but it's really going to come down to money. R&B Bros, appreciate your question. Again, guys, use hashtag NFL or Super Chat. All right, we got the Everyday Jam right now. Who are your top 5 defenses for next season? Top 5 defenses for next season. Give me a sec here. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots. I'm going to throw out a name like the Chicago Bears, Washington Football Team, and the Los Angeles Rams. Those are going to be your top 5 defenses for next season. Everyday Jam, if you disagree, maybe another team actually could be thrown in there. 49ers, if the 49ers can stay healthy, probably another name, maybe even the Indianapolis Colts. Burnin Spades, Falcons DB depth, please. It's not very great. We don't have, I think, the graphic to be able to show it to you, but there's not a lot of depth right now in that Falcons defensive backfield. You got A.J. Terrell, but they let go of Keanu Neal. He just signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Also, Ricardo Allen, he's not there anymore, but in terms of overall depth for the Falcons, there's not a lot of depth there. I still think this is a football team that needs to go out and add a lot more talent in that secondary. All right, Ted Cross, will the Falcons bring back Tevin Coleman? Interesting question. I know I talked about it on the news and rumors side of the show, but Tevin Coleman should definitely be somebody to keep in mind. No doubt a lot of injury issues, but still pretty young, and got his start in Atlanta when he was backing up Devonta Freeman. If the Falcons don't want to bring back Todd Gurley, if they want to try to save some money and take a one-year prove-it deal with a guy that they know, I do think Tevin Coleman is a pretty interesting option. 27 years old. He was great with Atlanta. Now, maybe that has more to do with Kyle Shanahan, but the injuries are definitely starting to rack up. But, hey, man, if you're a big-time Falcons fan, please go check out the channel, youtube.com/FalconsTV. All right, go ahead and predict a team that made the playoffs last season, but they won't do it in 2021. So, out of all the teams that made the playoffs last season, think about them, and I want you to go down in the comments and let me know. Let me know a team that will not make the playoffs in 2021. I know there's a lot of teams out there. I might even throw this team out here, the Seattle Seahawks, which might actually surprise some people, but that's a really, really tough division. All right, we got Burnin Spades Super Chat. Trade down partner for the Falcons if they trade down. Which team has the best chance if they do best option? So right now the Falcons are picking at number 4. I think in terms of a team that could trade, we'll say up. Carolina Panthers, I think, make a lot of sense if they want to go out and get a quarterback. The 49ers, if they're not fully committed on Jimmy G. Maybe a team, I don't think the Cowboys do, I don't think the Broncos do. I'll say in terms of best chance, I'll say the Carolina Panthers. All right, Joa, hopefully I got that one right. Chat Sports fan from Portugal, bonjour. What position do you think that the Browns should draft in the first round? I would have actually probably said safety, but now that totally changes. Maybe an edge rusher. If you can add another edge rusher, I know they signed, what's his name, Tack McKinley, 1 year, $4 million. If you can add another edge rusher like a Jalen Phillips, a Gregory Rousseau, I don't really think Aziz makes a lot of sense, but another 4-3 defensive end that can pair with Myles Garrett, that's the route I would go. Let's go to Mike Jerome. Can Joe Douglas work his magic and get Pro Bowl guard Larry Warford to opt in? Also, what's the market for Leonard Fournette? The market for all running backs is always a little bit peculiar. There's no doubt about that. If you're looking for $4 million a year type of move for Fournette, I'd probably be on board for that, considering the fact that Mark Ingram got 3. And then work his magic to get Pro Bowl guard Larry Warford to opt in. I mean, we'll see what happens with Warford. Obviously, he was a player that decided to opt out last year. I anticipate him playing this year, though, unless I'm totally thrown off by that. But Mike, appreciate the super chat. Marvin Castro, oh my God, I can't read. What has been Denver's best free agency move so far? Their best free agency move so far, I'll probably say, is Kyle Fuller, being able to bring him in on a, 1-year, 9.5. I wasn't too crazy about the Ronald Darby move, 3-year for 30. Shelby Harris was a move I was actually very excited about, but probably the best move, Justin Simmons. The fact that you were able to get him, sure, he gave him the bag, 4-year, $61 million. He's one of the best safeties in all of football, and I always think it's funny, like, oh, but they paid a lot of money. Believe it or not, you got to pay your really good players a lot of money, and that's exactly what they did in Justin Simmons. So if you guys got a question and you want to be featured on the show, you got to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, your chances definitely go down. And to make sure that you can join all of our live shows and join our breaking news shows, turn on those notifications. I don't want you to miss a thing. All right, we got D. Freeman. Gotcha. How did Howard not win Defensive Player of the Year in Miami? So you're talking about Xavier Howard. I was actually pretty shocked, too. The issue is this is an award that's kind of just goes to defensive linemen. And when you got Aaron Donalds out there, you got, TJ Watt out there racking up all these sacks, that's where people tend to go. It's a lot like quarterback when, Josh Jacobs was absolutely robbed of Offensive Player of the Year last year. It went to the quarterback, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. Like Justin Jefferson, he didn't win it. Absolutely robbed. Went to a quarterback. So he had 10 interceptions. He had an unbelievable, incredible year, but honestly, man, only getting 3 votes out of 50, I'm with you. I was pretty surprised. Let's go to Delineator, $10 super chat. I feel like the Broncos are a quarterback away from being a top competitor. Mitch and Sam, who is their best option to get at the position, take care of, and this team competitive again quickly? They are a quarterback away, I think, from being a top contender. The issue is there's no quarterbacks out there in the draft that's going to put them as the number 1 team in that division. I mean, unless they get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, that's the only way you're going to even be able to be one of the top teams in that division with the Chiefs having Patrick Mahomes. But if you're a quarterback away, the only guys, like I said, if I'm Denver, I'm either trading for Watson, Russell Wilson. Besides that, you're probably not going to be able to make anything. Let's go to Duda. Do you think that the Cardinals have done good in free agency? I do think they've done good. Actually, I gave them a B+ grade in my free agency grades. If you include trades in that, which I did, I mean, Rodney Hudson was a really good move for a 3rd-round pick. Hell, even somebody like J.J. Watt, it was a little bit of an overpay, but if you're windows now, makes some sense. A.J. Green is still probably a pretty solid wide receiver 3. You built the offensive line. Sure, you lost Hassan Reddick, but still pretty solid moves there. The Boston Sports Fan 88, Mitchell, should the Patriots trade up in the draft? If they see somebody that they really want, maybe like a Mac Jones, sure. But for New England, the fact that they made so many moves, especially on defense, and so many moves in free agency, maybe they can now trade up. Normally, I'm always trade down. But they try to fill so many holes in free agency. Maybe they have their eyes on somebody like a Mac Jones they could trade up and get. I know they already have Cam Newton, but just because they have Cam Newton doesn't mean that they're not going to go and potentially get another quarterback, because Jarrett Stidham, he definitely ain't it. Let's go to Jackpot to Win. Do you think the Bears will get another quarterback like in the draft or trade Andy? They're not going to trade Andy. He's going to be there. And in terms of drafting another quarterback, I'm not going to allow Nagy to do it because he hasn't deserved to be able to really take another quarterback. They need to just extend Allen Robinson that way, because if you don't have Allen Robinson, it's going to be a horrible, horrible year in Chicago. Adrian Morris, should the Chiefs sign an offensive tackle? Yes. Yes, they absolutely should. I still think that's probably one of the top needs out there. Obviously, losing Mitchell Schwartz and losing Eric Fisher hurts. When I think of the top 2 names out there, probably to play left tackle, Alejandro Villanueva, he played with Pittsburgh last year, and Russell Okung. Those are probably your top 2 guys out there. But how about this? If you could pick between those 2 guys, who would you get? Would you get Alejandro Villanueva, AJ, or Russell Okung, RO? According to Pro Football Focus, Okung's the better offensive tackle. However, I'm simply going to disagree. I would much rather have Alejandro Villanueva, and if I was him, I would do everything I possibly could to end up signing with a team like the Chiefs. All right, we got Luke Larkin. Are the Seahawks a Super Bowl team next year? Every team is a Super Bowl team, which a lot of times people don't like when I say that, but I think most recently a team like the San Francisco 49ers is a perfect example. In 2018, they win 4 games. In 2019, they go ahead and they make it to the Super Bowl. If you guys can stay healthy, if a few players can really break out, almost any team's there. But if as long as you got Russell Wilson, you're a Super Bowl contender. Let's go to Bruneil Jacobs. Mitchell, and now that the 49ers have re-signed Tart to a 1-year deal, do you think that they still address the safety position in the draft early, maybe Merrick or Holland? I mean, if you're going to get Merrick, I would be shocked if he's there in round 2 for when you guys are picking. But maybe, just maybe, Jevon Holland from Oregon, Ardarius Washington's the top center, Richie Grant the top center top safety. I don't think that's the route they go, though, in the first 2 rounds. Maybe in round 3, but if they go in round 3, one of the most peculiar safeties to me is the guy from Syracuse, Andre Cisco. Great tape and horrible tape, but he's definitely got some high upside. All right, Matt George, if you're Flores, do you build the O-line or give Tua someone to throw to that isn't injured all year? Luckily for you, you have 4 picks in the top 50. You don't have to pick. You can take care of the offensive line. You can take care of the wide receiver position. All right, Adampski 33, what do you think, or who do you think will win the NFC North this year? I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. They still got Aaron Rodgers. It's a team that I think is going to be a little bit better. Sure, I like what the Vikings did. The Lions did okay. Bears don't scare me at all with Andy Dalton. But how about this? Let me know in the comments section, who do y'all think is going to end up winning the NFC North? Go down, type GB for the Packers, type CHI for the Chicago Bears, type MIN for the Minnesota Vikings, or you can type DET for the Detroit Lions. Raul Corona, what up, man? Which cornerback should the Raiders pick up between Poole, Sherman, and A.J. Bouye? I'm team Brian Poole. Richard Sherman might be the most expensive. Bouye might be the most likely option, but if I'm the Raiders, it's Brian Poole. Get a slot cornerback who's been absolutely elite in coverage and probably going to be the cheapest one out of those. I disagree with that, actually. He's probably going to be a little bit more expensive, but can fill in for what you were trying to get, like with LaMarcus Joyner. Everyday Jam in the draft. Who do you see falling pretty far? Parsons, maybe someone else surprising. I could actually see Micah Parsons falling because according to a report that came out like 2 months ago, 15 NFL teams have taken him off the board. Really, really talented player, but a lot of off-field concerns. I definitely think Parsons is the guy up there, and maybe even now Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley is going to be undergoing some surgery, which just came out a few hours ago. If you guys are watching this on Monday, Caleb Farley, very talented, but for a player that opted out and now having surgery, could fall down a little bit. Salvador, do the Seahawks re-sign KJ Wright or Chris Carson? Well, they already brought back Chris Carson, so if you would have known that if you'd be subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. And in terms of KJ Wright, no doubt a potential option, but they have to spend a lot of money at the linebacker position, which I don't know they do. Demerius Young, what other pieces do the Washington football team need to be a real contender besides quarterback? I mean, I'll tell you what, man, they've already added the top receiver. They have Terry McLaurin. They added the receiver. You have a good running back. Your offensive line's pretty solid by retaining Scherf. Your defense is great. They were really only a quarterback away, and they got Fitz. And if Fitz can be as good as what he was last year, I actually think it's an 8, 9, maybe even 10-win football team, which might be ballsy to say, but that division is also not very good. Dale Webb Jr. next up here on NFL Daily. Do the Raiders trade for OBJ? No. I know there's OBJ trade rumors out there, but if the Raiders want another top wide receiver, I just don't think it's going to be OBJ. And you're going to pay for the name. You're not going to pay for the player you get. Let's go to Mohammed. Your Super Bowl prediction if the season started today. Great question. I'm going to be a loser here, and I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs, probably from the AFC. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers and the Chiefs. That's probably where I go. All right, 12-cut pizza sounds great right now. Zach Wilson better than Sam Darnold. Yes, I 100% agree, and I think the New York Jets agree with you as well. It's why all the Sam Darnold trade rumors continue to pop up here. Andrew, do the Rams replace John Johnson in free agency or the draft? I don't know if you can replace John Johnson with any of the guys out there still at safety, especially in both those. I mean, when John Johnson's been healthy, he's been one of the top safeties in the league. Top 3, actually, in 2018 and in 2020. If I'm the Rams, though, they don't have a lot of money to spend. Probably the draft. But, again, you don't have a pick in the first round, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. I guess, though, I'm still going to stick with draft. All right, let's go to King Mir 15. What wide receiver should the Bengals sign? Oh, man. In terms of, you still, see, that's the thing, that you have T. Higgins. You have some other solid options out there. Like, I'm trying to think of who the Bengals wide receiver depth chart is right now off the top of my head. You have Tyler Boyd, who's really probably one of the more underrated wide receivers out there. Sure, you lost John Ross. Sure, you lost A.J. Green. But, I mean, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Auden Tate, I mean, that's a pretty solid top three. If you're trying to add even a little bit more speed because you lost Ross, maybe T.Y. Hilton, but maybe D.D. Westbrook if he's 100% healthy. All right, Hank Moore, last question here. Do the Raiders go linebacker or safety in the draft? If they go linebacker, it's Jeremiah Wilson-Mora or somebody maybe like Zaven Collins. If they go linebacker, oh, wait, no, I just said that. If they go safety, it's Merrick at pick 17 from TCU. I think those are your probably top option at safety. Then your top two linebackers are the guys I just said. I still think about a guy like Christian Barmore. If they decide to go offensive tackle, Barroso is an option. If Rashawn Slater slides down, maybe somebody, maybe like Tevin Jenkins, because he does remind me a lot of Colt Miller. But at that point, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Micah Parsons even. I know the Raiders like Micah Parsons a lot too.